Can you see me? Maybe, but I bet it's hard. You might see my shadow, but you don't see me. What's my point? Why am I doing this? Because this is the way worship should work. Now, am I saying that we need to have dark rooms and bright lights to worship correctly? No. But if God is light, if He is really God and master of our lives, it should be His light that shines, and we are but a shadow. See, victory in the presence of God doesn't really come down to where we worship, what songs we sing, or even how we sing them. Victory comes in recognizing and focusing on God who is the light. The focus is on Him. But the temptation is to allow worship to be a once-a-week or momentary event. Would you say that worship is a lifestyle for you? Could it be that you feel defeated because it isn't? Let me tell you, when you don't want to worship is the very time you need to do it the most. 10 years ago, when I was laying in a hospital bed, I wasn't sure of what was going to happen to me. I felt, well, bad, but that doesn't even really give it justice. No one, not even the best and the brightest at IU Med Center, knew what was wrong. And the first night I was there, Adriana had left to go home with the kids, and I was by myself for really the first time. I was mad at God. I had 2 young kids. I had just moved them 1,000 miles away from our families. And Adriana was expecting, and she had just bought this CD. Yeah, we still had those back then. And I put it on my own personal CD player, and on it was the song Strong Tower. And I listened to it, and I sung it. I'll admit, I shed a tear or two. And the words were, strong tower, high and glorious, strong tower, mighty in love. Let me tell you, I found victory in that moment. Even in the darkness of the moment, I had the light of hope. And that is where we meet the Apostle John as he shares his vision. After showing us what church should and shouldn't be, we are taken to the throne room of God. And as we can only imagine, it's amazing. So amazing, it really can't be described. And it's in this moment that we realize that heaven is accessible and available to us. The churches that John was writing to were under great stress and persecution, but they could have victory in God's presence. But the temptation for them and for us is to think that later that will happen when we get to heaven. But to be in God's presence is something we can have right now, and it changes us. Too often, worship has become about us, and then we wonder why we feel defeated and unchanged. Anytime we focus on ourselves and leave a lifestyle of worship, it will be too easy for us to make it about us. One of the saddest things I've seen in the church is worship is seen more as a preference than an attitude. Contemporary, traditional, the labels go on and on. Worship is not a label. It's something that we give and should only be given to God. So let yourself be a shadow, because worship isn't about you. You only win, you're only victorious when it's all about God.